First, I want you to go to your reading books and to open this page, which is 276. We're going to complete the story of the gold, which is expository texts that explain information that we don't know about gold and the formation of the gold and the price of the gold and how the people like it and why they like it more than other metals. Let's hear first this part, and then after that we are going to read.
The leading areas for gold mining include South Africa, Russia, the United States, Canada, Australia, Brazil, and China. The single most productive area is the Transvaal province of South Africa, a country that now produces over a quarter of the world's annual gold production of 3,300 tons. 3,000 tons. Wealth beneath the waves. The oceans, which cover about 3/4 of Earth's surface, contain a much higher proportion of gold than the land. On average, 1 cubic foot, 0.09 meters cubed, of ocean is between 1,000 and 50,000 times more likely to contain gold than 1 cubic foot of Earth's crust. Rich oceans, but poor returns. Some 80 years ago, when people thought that there was more gold in seawater than there really is, German scientist Fritz Haber, 1868 to 1934, was asked to find a way to extract the ocean's gold. His government wanted gold to pay the debts it had built up by the end of World War I, 1914 to 1918. This gold mine is located about 1 hour from Johannesburg in South Africa and is one of the deepest mines in the world. The gold miner is working several kilometers, 1 kilometer equals 0.62 miles, below ground. In fact, the proportion of gold in seawater is a mere 10 parts per trillion, so Haber succeeded only in showing that it would cost more to extract the gold than the gold would be worth. Searching for gold. As traces of gold have been found and used by many ancient civilizations, it is impossible to say who first discovered this metal. But historic treasures and records that survive to this day show that many early peoples had a passion for gold. Cities have been founded, and expeditions and wars started by people scrabbling for more of this precious metal. Early gold prospectors, such as those in Persia and ancient Egypt, probably panned for gold. Using river water, they would wash sand or gravel through a sieve. Any lumps of gold would be left behind in their sieve for them to collect. Over the centuries, people have also developed the technology to dig gold out of solid rock. In the 16th century, the Spanish invaders of South America used slave labor to mine vast amounts of gold, changing the world economy forever. The population of states such. This astronaut
The page, and let's go for next one.
as Nevada mushroomed in the 19th century as people rushed there to exploit newly discovered reserves of gold. Gold mining is still big business, especially in South Africa. Today, gold prospectors use satellite technology and chemical rock analysis to search for new reserves. They can blast gold from rock using high-pressure water. They can even extract gold economically from low-grade ores, rocks that contain very small amounts of the metal. Gold can be dissolved from these rocks using the chemical potassium cyanide. Precious properties. Gold catches our eye and is attractive to many people because it shines so brilliantly. People also like it because it is so rare and precious. But gold is valued for more than its scarcity and beauty. It has several other unusual properties that make it a perfect metal for many tasks. Most metals, such as iron and copper, corrode over time. Corrosion happens when a metal combines with another element, usually the gas oxygen in the air, to form a compound that covers the metal surface as a dull film. Gold objects never corrode. That is why they still look new even centuries after they were made. In fact, gold does not react in any way with water, air, and most acids, or with any other common substance. Stamped to show its authenticity, 45% of the world's gold is kept under lock and key in bank vaults as bars of gold bullion. Because it is easy to form gold into elaborate shapes, this precious metal has been used in sacred and important works of art in every region of the world. The example above is a piece of pre-Columbian art.
Wow.
Did you know? A little goes a long way. A cube of gold the size of a plum could be beaten to form a sheet of gold leaf that could cover a tennis court, or it could be stretched to form a wire nearly 2 miles, 3.2 kilometers, long. Less than 1/250,000th inch, 1/10,000th millimeter thick, gold leaf can be folded and torn as easily as paper. Bend me, shape me. Pure gold is extremely malleable, which means that it is soft enough to bend or beat into many different shapes. You can beat a lump of gold with a hammer, for example, to turn it into a thin, flexible sheet of gold leaf. Gold is also very ductile. This means that it can be easily stretched into extremely fine wire, especially when first softened by heat. Gold is an excellent thermal and electrical conductor. In other words, it lets heat and electricity flow through it very easily. Only silver and copper are more effective conductors of heat and electricity than gold. Gold has these properties because of the way its atoms, the tiny particles that make it up, are arranged. Compared to most metals, gold has atoms that are bonded together very loosely. This means that they are able to slide past each other easily when only a tiny force is applied to them. For instance, when you try to bend or stretch a lump of gold. With so many special properties, it is no wonder that gold can be put to so many different uses.
Okay. Before we complete the story, this is the writer of our story. Her name is Sarah Anglis. And Sarah Anglis was trained in electronics music and evolutionary robotics. She specialized in creating original sound installations, exhibits, and live performance that mix cutting-edge science with vintage science technology and little-known stories from the history of science. Including among her installations is a sound piece in the reptile house of the London Zoo and another in the butterfly house, which responds to the flight of butterflies. She says, when I'm not working with sound, I'm usually dreaming up new exhibits and galleries, digging out facts and stories from our archive, editing videos for use in theater shows, presenting live events, or writing books and articles on science. Miss Anglis, the author of numerous hand on books about science for young people, including those on this page, also plays the musical Saw. Okay, my girls, this brilliant woman, very, very brilliant and amazing woman, she is not an ordinary woman. She knows a lot of about what? About electronics, about music, and about sounds, and also about science. So she integrated all the knowledge that she knows in order to what? To do her work. What kind of work she do? She do work that is related to sounds. She is working on theater to fix the sounds in the theater. She makes sounds and she try to fix the exhibits for people when they come with the colors, with the sounds and everything. And also she went to work in some of the zoos. How? She went to integrate her knowledge and her science to do it for the animals. So sometimes she made a sound that interact with the sound of the butterflies and for the flying of the butterflies. When the butterflies go and fly, then the music will work with them. This is something very amazing that she doesn't want only to keep the knowledge for herself, but no, she went after that to make articles and to make books for the young generations to understand how the science work and how the things around us. One of her articles that she made is the article or the book that she made about gold. And this is just a piece of the information that she put in there. We put it for you today, girls. So you can understand some of this information about gold. Of course, knowing all of this information means that she's a great reader. She reads a lot. She searched in the archive. She made her own research and she integrated the knowledge in her work to teach other people, not only to keep her for herself. That makes her a very amazing and brilliant writer and genius person. Now, going back to our lesson of today, she is speaking today about another part about the gold. We know that the gold is a very precious metal, and what makes it even more precious than the silver is that the gold never corrode. What does it mean never corrode? Which means never interact with the air or the water or any type of oxides, and it keeps its glowing and it keeps is what its color. Its color never fade away or never change. So that make the people, all the people around the world, they want to what to take this gold for them. Also, the price of the gold, if you buy one piece of gold right now, if you come after 10 years or 20 years and try to sell it, it will give you the same price, which means that the gold keep the money inside of it, keep the price of the money inside of it, and never become less than the money that you bought it with. That's why also people likes the gold more than any other metal, because other metals, their prices will change over time, but the gold will never change. Maybe sometimes it will grow, maybe the price of the gold, but never will go back. So this is why the people appreciate gold over the years and over the history. If you go type over the history, you'll find a lot of people they liked gold. One of the civilizations that appreciated gold and made a big rank for the gold in their history and in their civilization was the civilization of the Maya or the Inca. Those people who lived in the South American continent in Peru. And we call it what? We call it the Aztec. This is general information, by the way, not from the text, but from what I know. We call it the Aztec culture or the Aztec civilization. Aztec civilization. The Aztec civilization, my girls, all of it was what was based on the gold aslan. Those people, they were the people of Maya, Sha'b al-Maya. They were living in what in Peru since 3,000 or about 4,000 years ago or 2,000. I'm not sure about the number, but they used to live in Peru. At that time, my girls, they used to make a whole city. This city buildings, all of them are on a mountain, above a mountain. And above that mountain, they used to make pyramids, like the pyramids that you find in Cairo in Egypt. Similar to them is the pyramids that you will find in Peru. Okay, uh, those pyramids. The unique thing about it that they didn't even make it just of stones. No, they make it above of a mountain. Okay, and then they made these pyramids up in the sky, and then after that they covered and they cast these pyramids with gold. They melt the gold and they covered these pyramids with. And then after that, all the women inside this civilization, they were wearing a plenty of gold. She will wear the gold in her head, in her clothes, in her, even their shoes. Some of the people, they find shoes made of gold in that era for those people who lived in there. And they said that the people, they used to have the gold because at that time the gold was plenty in their area. So the people, they used to bring the gold from the mines and to put it in their homes and their buildings. And they said that the leader of this country or this city, he used to have a full house made of gold, and inside it he stored the gold inside the rooms of the building. When the Spanish people, they came to Peru because they heard about the gold and how rich those people are. They came to invade it. When they invaded, they killed all the people and they took the rest of them with them to Spain. And then the rest of the things inside there, they took all the gold. They came to the pyramids and they scratched all the gold from the pyramids and they took it. And they took ships filled with gold and with people, and they went back to Spain with their prize. And now all the gold that you find in Spain, it came from Peru. Also, right now, if you go for France, you will find that French people right now they have plenty of gold. From where they bring it? They bring it from Libya. Libya. You know that Libya right now has a war, right? Since the last few years ago, Libya
Yeah.
has war. Why they had war in Libya? Because they know that Libya it has what? It has one of the best countries that have the most amount of gold over the African continent. So they went to Libya and they brought all the gold from there and they shipped it to France. And now France economy boosts up. Why? Because of the gold of Libya. So people over the years and over the history, you will find people that are fighting each other over this metal because this metal is not something ordinary. It's something unique. It's something has a price in it, and the people like to have it and to own it to show it for other people like we have something better than you. Something else that make it so precious, as I told you, it's never corrode. So if you go back to history, you will find some pieces of gold from the pharaoh's era, فترة الفراعنة, and you will find also before pharaoh's era, which means that the gold never corrode and never change. You will find a shape like this since 7,000 years ago, and it will be the same shape, the same color, the same everything. Subhanallah, never change. Yani, if you just clean it a little bit, it will give you the same glow that they used to have it at that time. You see, this is what makes it very precious. Now, one of the mines that I want to show you that is very famous. Who are the countries that have the most of gold? The countries that have the most mines and we extract the most of gold from them is what is these countries. These are the lead countries of gold. We have here South Africa, we have Russia, United States of America, Canada, Australia, Brazil, and China. But the leading country in the gold industry is South Africa. Why? Because it has a mine in there. This mine give the whole world more than 3,300 tons of the world's more amount of gold. يعني quarter of the amount of the gold comes from only South Africa. The rest of it, it will be spread over the whole world. But a quarter of it comes from South Africa. That tells you how much gold they have. That's why the Western countries, my girls, like Belgium, Germany, France, Spain, all of them they came to invade Africa since long time ago. They wanted to take Africa away, and they wanted to make colonies in there. Why they colonize those places? Because they know that the amount of wealth inside Africa is not like any other place in the whole world. And if you just dig inside Africa and you have the technology that you need, you will find that Africa is the most wealthy or the wealthiest country over the whole world. Okay, so that's why all the people wanted to invade each other just for the sake of the wealths and for the resources that they have. Wealth beneath the waves. Only does the gold only exist over the land and over the earth? No, of course not. People said, and some scientists said, that actually if you go beneath the water, you will find more and a lot more than the mines that we have of the gold over the ground. You will find there more gold under and beneath the water. Why? Because if you can remember, since the beginning of the history, you can find people who traveled over the seas. Those ships that traveled over the seas since the ancient time, they used to have a lot of gold and a lot of people over it. A lot of those ships, what happened that they destroyed and they crashed into the sea, and everything inside it were what? Were sank into the water. So now if you go after these places and you try to search in the surface of the sea, you will find a lot of gold and treasures in there, but nobody knows how to reach it because the sea is so deep and the oceans are so deep. One of these examples for the trying or the attempts to bring the gold from the sea was the German try that they made it in the 1914 and 1918 after the first world war, the first world war. What happened that all the people, all the countries were exhausted of the war, and they didn't have enough money. So what they decided that they want to bring a ship of the German country and to send it to the ocean to search for gold. And they sent a scientist. His name is Haper. Fritz Haber, he was a scientist that he knows the metal of the gold and how to search about it and how and where to search about it. And he said that the ocean is full of gold. When they give him the money and they fund him to go in expedition to search for the gold, actually, he found something. He found that if they go to search inside the sea for the gold, they found that the money that they have to put in this expedition and to provide the men and to provide the resources to go to search for the gold and the amount of time that you have to spend in the water just to search for gold, it will cost you more than the gold itself. So they stopped. They said, no, it's a bad idea to search inside the sea. Why? Because if we know that uh, more than 70% of the whole earth is water, then if you want, all of this is water and all of this is land, for example, on the earth. If you want to search the whole ocean to find the gold, and if we know that the sea and the oceans itself, the depth of it is more than 60 kilometers, 600 kilometers down. So if you want to search, if we know that the people, the sinkers and the divers um, who wants to go down on the sea, they can't go more than 100 kilometer in the sea. So what about the 500 kilometer, the rest of them? Who is going to search and who can go down? Nobody can go down. Only the devices can go down. Only big vehicles can go down. But if they go down, like the submarine, they can go down. But if they go down, we don't have hands to grab the gold in there. So we need another machine to bring that and to put it inside the submarine. So it's a long process. It will cost a lot. And actually, nobody can go down. And subhanAllah, this is why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in one hadith that he said, at the judgment day, God will flip the earth and he will show all the people about the golds and the wealth that he has under the ground and under the sea. And when the people see it, they will start to cry that we wasted our whole life just to search for a little amount of wealth and a little amount of gold, while we were here just to worship God, but we forgot and we started to run after the gold and after the money. While all of this we didn't know that existed. If we know that all of this existed, we will never waste our time just to search for a little amount, because we know that God, he will bring us the money, not us. But those people, they were just searching for gold, and they forgot everything else. So one of the attempts to bring gold from beneath the sea, it didn't work, and it will never work. It will work maybe if you have a sea, not an ocean, like Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, because the depth of the sea is less than the ocean. The sea, maybe it will be 200 kilometers, but the ocean, it will be 600 kilometers. Nobody can go down. But the sea, yes, if you have good divers, they will go there, and they will try to swim and to dig and to search for those things and bring it up. But in the ocean, it's like impossible. Searching for the gold, the people, they try to bring the gold from the ancient civilization, and that's why they read a lot in history, because they want to know who are the most nation who had gold over the years and over the history. Then they will go to that area to dig in that area to search for more. Okay, one of the things that I want you to know, the last time I showed you that some people, they are eating gold on burgers and in cake, right?
Yeah,
Did you remember? So
yeah,
one of the information I want you to know about gold, that if you bring a cube of gold, okay, a cube of gold like this one, if you bring just only one of them and you try to melt it, you will find that this gold, the liquid gold, you can take it and you put it on a tennis court. You know the tennis court, ملعب tennis.
yeah,
You know the tennis court. This is tennis court.
Miss, but how you will melt the gold and it's not corrode?
You will melt it with fire. You will put it on fire until it smelts, and then after that will become liquid. And then after that they put it inside molds to make jewelry, to make other things. But if you melt it and you take that liquid metal and you go for a tennis court and you put that metal on the tennis court, you will find that it will cover the whole tennis court. Only one cube. Imagine. So it will cover a tennis court that is 300 or 3.2 kilometers.
That's because the tennis court is like hot, the area, or it's
No.
not.
What?
Is it because sometimes like the heat in the tennis area, the tennis court is strong, or
No, no, no. I'm trying to tell you to imagine that if you bring how we can take the gold from this. يعني أصلا the gold you will find it as a rock. طيب. Then they will take this rock to melt it and to make molds like this. This molds is cubes. We call it in Arabic سبائك الذهب. Every cube of them it will give you 1 kilogram, sorry, 1 kilogram of gold. This 1 kilogram of gold, if you take it and melt it again with fire and you bring that liquid, how much it can cover? It can cover a tennis court. يعني شوفي, this is what I want to tell you. I will explain it in Arabic.